Hi guys, and welcome back to the next episode of the Madden 17 Road to Glory, and I'm so excited for this episode. So many cool things are going to be happening in this episode. If you notice in the top right hand corner, we are down on coins, but there is a good reason for that, which I'm sure has been given away in the title. We have sold a few players, we've also bought a few new players, and we've bought a very, very good player for very cheap. So, new Ultimate Legends came out this weekend. Brian Dawkins and Will Shields, I think it was. It's not either of them, unfortunately, but it is an Ultimate Legend. And since everyone's doing the solos, everyone's getting their rewards, which are the Ultimate Legend players, I was sitting there just going through and trying to get some of the players for reasonably cheap. We managed to pick up Darius Slay as well, actually, who's obviously going to cost us a fair amount of coins. So I did pick him up for, I think I managed to make him for around 500k. And his going rate at the moment is about 700k, so it's 200k cheaper. He's never going to get cheaper than 500k, I think. I think I got pretty much every player for around 1 to 2k, and then the elite badges got him for around 20k each. So I don't think he's ever going to go below the price that I made him for, so that is profit nonetheless. But the player that we did manage to snipe might not come across as a huge snipe, but it is the 92 Steve McNair for 52.5k. Now, that might not seem like a hell of a lot of money saved to you guys, depending on how much you know about the Ultimate Legends sets. But what I'll do is I'll actually show you how much money it's saved. I'm also thinking of picking up Kraus as well. So if you want to see me do that, do let me know down in the comments below. But as I was saying, it might not seem like a lot of money saved on Steve McNair, but I'll show you exactly how much he is going for. That is the main piece for the set he is going for, and he's currently going for 700k. All the other pieces are about 50k together. All the other gold and elite players are about that together, but this is how much this card goes for. 400k easy, and I managed to get him up for 50k, so I'm absolutely over the moon about that. I was thinking about picking him up for a little while just because I've seen him on some other videos. He looks pretty damn good. He's actually a quarterback, but he's got more trucking than some running backs. So rolling out with him, which I have been mentioning I want to do a bit more, is going to be very good. And you can see him there, 98 rated on that screen. But when we go through, he is up to a 99 with both chems activated. He actually fits in pretty well with both the chems. I mean, I got rid of LeGarrette Blount and put in C.J. Anderson, and he just happens to have the bruising back chem, which works for McNair. Also, the chain mover works with Alshon Jeffrey, which is pretty nice. So he's got both chems up to tier 1. Might get him up to tier 2, depending on how well he plays. I'll try and get out of the pocket passing mentality that I have. I know it's going to take a little while to actually get out of that mentality, because I do pocket pass a hell of a lot with players. Just because I haven't had a running quarterback, all year that I've been able to run with. But this guy, 81 trucking, as you can see there, 84 stiff arm. He looks like he'll be absolutely unbelievable when you roll out with him. I mean, he's not as quick as Vic, but he is definitely not slow. I think he's got high 80s for the speed. So I'm so excited for this card, especially considering I think we ended up getting him for in total about 100k, because you get the elite badges for putting the sets together, doing things like that. You get a free Ultimate Legend badge, for doing the sets. So it took about 3 weeks of saving for this card in the Ultimate Legend badges, but overall I can't complain whatsoever. As you can see, 87 acceleration, with good carrying, good strength. He's going to be absolutely unbelievable for us. So if you guys are excited to see some Steve McNair gameplay, let me know down in the comments below, and also drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, because there's going to be a lot more videos coming out at the moment. We also picked up Kelvin Benjamin just for the spec catch. Considering it works for everyone on the team, I don't want to spend a lot of money on a big money receiver just yet. I wanted to get the deep threat chemistry back up, because I got rid of Stafford. I had to get it back up somehow. But he does get everyone's spec catch up to around 96, I think. With everyone having the deep threat, that gets them 1 extra point, and he gets +2. So 96 odd spec catch on the receivers. Also, it gets it up on the cornerbacks, which is very, very helpful, considering the corners we've got are going to be They're the type of lockdown corner that also try and get picks. They're not run heavy corners, they're zone corners who will be getting picks for us. Well, I'm hoping Slay will, and I know Dion does play very well as well. Also at the left end spot, we did pick up, we got one of the combine players for free as well. So there's been quite a few changes to the team. Hopefully, you know, the team will still play well. But if you look at the stats in the bottom left for Dion, he's absolutely unreal in coverage. And I just use him for coverage. I don't think I ever blitz him. If I blitz anyone, it'll be Ramsey or Slay. So for me, I can't think of a better corner in the game at the moment than Dion for coverage. But for now, we're going to jump into some gameplay with this insane new 94 overall team. Hopefully you guys enjoy. So this is our starting three coming into the game. So I can't believe we haven't spent any money on the game and we've managed to get these three players. But we're going to play against someone who also has a very stacked team. I think he did have a 99 overall team, considering the players he had. I totally bit on that play action there, and he makes his very, very nice pass. So I know I'm not coming up against someone who is not very good. I'm just trying to cover every route that I possibly should and can. DeAndre Levy making plays there, very nice. I'm thinking about maybe using him a bit more and picking up a better middle linebacker who I don't have to user. But overall here, very happy with that. Nearly making a play again there. I think that was Levy. Nearly getting a pick, just couldn't get his feet in bounds. But something I do want to talk about, and I know I do say ask questions down below in the comments, and if you do that I will answer them. So if you have any questions about the series or the game in general, or just opinions you want to hear, let me know down in the comments. So the question that's come up a few times is, how have I got this many coins? And I know the easiest way for you guys to find out about this is watch the series, because I do document it all as we go along, with a very, very nice pass there from Steve McNair to Kelvin Benjamin, the two new boys getting together very nicely there for a touchdown on our first offensive drive with them both in the team. But how do I get these many coins? The main thing that I'll do is you've got to make sure you play the game at the right time of day and the right day of the week. So on Saturdays, you've got to make the most of when people are going to be opening certain packs and bundles, because that's when player prices are going to slightly drop. So as an example, in this episode was that Steve McNair. I knew people were opening a lot of packs, Ultimate Legend packs. People will be getting him, and someone will be listing him very cheaply just to try and sell him on. You won't always get a bigger snipe as I did. I was very, very lucky with that. But you just got to make the most of the opportunities like that. So when a set comes out, ultimately you want to wait about a week to pick up the players. I never get the new players instantly, because that's when they're most expensive. So if you're opening packs and you happen to get a limited legend, sell him straight away, pick him up in a week, and he'll be about 50% cheaper. But maybe not that much, maybe about 30% cheaper. But an example of that is the Marshawn Lynch. When he first came out, he was about 2.5 to 3 million instantly. And now, I know this is about 3 weeks down the line, but the limited version is about, I think he's about 1.5 mil. So he's half the price. If you just wait 3 weeks, you'll save yourself. It won't always be 1.5 obviously, because it won't be that sort of price, but it works for every single player. So every player that you get will go down in price quite significantly in over the course of a little bit of time. So if you're willing to give up a week without playing with the player, just so you want to get the coins, that's what I'd recommend anyway. That's a huge coin saver. Also, you got to pay very close attention to the sets and make sure you're not overpaying for players. So if you're doing a set, for example, that pass there, I clicked the wrong button in the background there, as I'm sure a lot of you could see. Square, I think it was wide open, but I accidentally clicked circle, through to circle, and he got a pick. So I was quite annoyed at this point. I did really want to get the ball back, because I didn't think he deserved his first touchdown. And on the second one here, we do get a nice user pick over the middle with Ryan Shazier, who is absolutely unreal. But anyway, with the sets, this Darius Slay is an example of how I've made a fair bit of money on the series just up to now. I've done the set twice. First time, I did it for around 600k, just getting the players pretty cheap and sniping the badges, and I sold that for 880k. So that's a nice profit. People just can't be bothered to do the sets, and that's how I make my money. You know, spend sort of an hour or two, and I made, I think, about 240k profit on that one. And this time, once again, I've done it for a price that I know it will not get cheaper than that price. So I know eventually I can make profit on it, or it's just a player that I've got who's well worth the value. I think 98 overall for 500k, I think that's fairly reasonable. But Also, make sure you're not overpaying for players. So, I'm sure everyone knows this, but if you don't, there is a forum called Mutthead. Should have gone left on that one. There was a massive hole on the left. But anyway, there's a forum called Mutthead where if you go on there, it'll detail every player, all the stats, everything, but most importantly their price. So if there's not very many on the auction house, and you think one is cheap, in the grand scheme of things, it might not be cheap. That's something that you've really got to pay attention to. So, say for example, what I'm doing exactly at this moment in time, actually, the Cam Chancellor, I am getting rid of because there aren't many on the market, and he tends to go for around 210k. The lowest bid one on the market is 280k. So I've put mine up for about 250. Hopefully someone buys him, and then if I feel like getting him back, I can get him back for 200k, and that's a very, very easy 20 odd k profit there, just from being patient and paying attention to the auction house. That is a good way to make coins, and they're probably the best tips to make coins. I have got a video on the best way to make coins, so if you do want extra tips or something like that, there are plenty for you guys to go with on there. Just go and search it on the channel and it'll be there for you. But anyway, this guy here, Alshon Jeffrey, just walking over his players, and at that point he had enough and quit the game just because of how good Alshon Jeffrey is. I'm absolutely loving this card. I didn't think I'd be that keen on it. I mainly got him as a run blocker, but he's done the business. And my opponent there, very nice kickoff little strategy there, making it out of bounds, so as soon as your guy runs over to it, he's going to run straight out of bounds, and he put me on the 18-yard line. Pretty nervous about that, to be honest, because I thought that's sort of a tip that only someone who really knows a lot about the game will do. Sends in a heavy blitz here. Dallas Clark cuts upfield. He goes for the big hit. He absolutely misses it. He's got someone who should catch him. He went for the big hit again. He could have gone for a wrap up there. Stopped me on the 25. He didn't. And this 90 rated Dallas Clark is absolutely unreal. It's probably the most efficient card in the game for me. But anyway, on defence here, we're locking things up on the right-hand side. Unfortunately for him, he ends up dropping the pass. I think he might have been a bit nervous under pressure, his player there. I know he's going to throw the ball again, so I'm covering the flats. I knew that was exactly where he was going to throw it, but I over-pursued the route and unfortunately didn't get the pick. But I know, just from the way he's playing, I know that a pick's on the cards if I just hold my position right. I know he's going to throw to this guy. Probably every single time. It's a read. I'm trying to lead, make it look like it's open, and then cut back over to it and get the pick. So hopefully we can get it at some point on this drive. He's going to run the ball, which I really didn't expect, but luckily my line make up for that, because the D-line is absolutely ridiculous. They're all inside blitzers. They all get off the block so fast, especially Sue. And fair play to them. They make plays for me. But Landon Collins here, nice pick, and that is the end of the 3 games of the episode. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon.